Creating ISO 8. In my opinion, ISO 8 is the most difficult one that we're going to be creating. So we're going to use some tools that we've used before. We'll create shapes, we'll extrude them, we'll create points and holes, and we'll use dimensioning. I'm going to start this by looking at the top face. And from the top face, I'm going to create a rectangle that I'm then going to fillet corners on. So the size of the rectangle that I'm going to create, it has a width of 2 and it has a depth of 1.5. When I extrude it, I'm going to extrude it 1/2 inch. So let's create ISO 8. Okay, we'll begin by creating a sketch on the top face. And we're going to create that rectangle that is 2 wide and 1.5 deep. Okay, once we have that created, we're going to extrude that up 1/2 inch. And that will give us something that looks like this. Okay, so let's zoom in. And I'm going to first fillet these corners. Looking at the diagram, if I put a point right here, that looks like a circle. So the fillet is going to be 1/4 inch. So again, we're going to go into the fillet tool. Let's choose right here. We're going to make it 1/4 inch. We're going to make this one 1/4 inch as well. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to locate a point that we can drill a hole through on. So let's look at it from this direction. And we're going to create a sketch. Zooming in, we're going to create on this face, looking at it from the top, we're going to create a point. We'll just put the point here because we can use dimensioning to locate where it needs to be. We know it needs to be the midpoint of this line. So this width is 2. If we divide it by 2, or we could type in a 1, we'll get that dimension. We also know that it is 1/2 inch from the edge this direction. Okay, we'll save that. We'll go to the hole tool. We'll say we want to create a hole right here, and we want our hole to have 1/2 inch diameter. Okay, so we have this bottom half created. The next thing we're going to do is create a rectangle. We're going to do it from the back face, and the height of that rectangle is going to be 1 3/4 inches, and it's going to be a width of 1 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to rotate this way. We're creating a sketch on the back. Okay, zooming in, I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm going to make sure it's touching that line. I'm going to bring it up, and we said it's going to be 1 inch wide and 1 3/4 inches tall. Okay, now we just have to make sure that it's in the right location. So we know from here to here should be 1/2 inch. We don't have to dimension this because we know 1 plus 1/2 inch is 1.5, and our total width is 2. Okay, and we're going to click on OK. Let's go back to our isometric view because we're going to extrude it forward 1/2 inch. So let's choose this. This is the face. We're going to bring it the forward direction, and then we can type in over here 1/2 inch. Okay, and we've just created the rectangle that we're going to fillet and fillet. Okay, so looking at the top, well, let's look here. Looking here, we know that the diameter of that circle is 1. So our fillets are each going to be here 1/2 inch. So I'm going to fillet here 1/2 inch. And I'm going to do the same fillet here. And that'll give me my nice round curve. Okay, I'm also going to need to fillet here. And these fillets as well are a 1/2 inch. So I can just click since I have that selection made. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do for this piece is I'm going to next add a circle and extrude it in this direction. Okay, so my circle will be sketched on this face. And let's look at it from the front. I want to create a circle that starts at the center and is 1 inch diameter. Okay, if it lines up, perfect. If it doesn't, then I would dimension from here, whoops, to the bottom, and that dimension would be 1.75. So I don't need to do that because my circle ended up being in the correct location. Okay, let's extrude out just that circle, and we'll extrude it out a 1/2 inch. And that leaves us with this as our figure. The last thing we're going to do is punch a hole through it in the center, and the hole will have a 1/2 inch diameter. So let's sketch the front. Let's look at it from the front, and let's locate the center. Okay, and I had the center located. So the last step, all I need to do is create a hole on here, and my diameter should be a 1/2 inch. When I rotate around, you'll see that I have ISO 8.